Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome to the Amateur Otaku Podcast. How is everybody doing out there? I am Brandon, the Amateur Otaku, Scarlet fan here, and I'm very excited to be here back with you guys again to talk awesome anime and not just any show, not just any manga, not just any anime, but the awesome and amazing Shinjeki no Kyojin Attack on Titan. We're excited to be back here with our weekly review of the Amateur Otaku. Oh my God, I'm mixing names all over. The Attack on Titan final season. I'm so excited to be back here with our friends here, the Amateur Otaku, to talk this awesome show. This week's awesome episode 78, Two Brothers. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to digest, a lot to discuss. So there's a lot of spoilers ahead for Attack on Titan, episode 78, Two Brothers. So watch out if you haven't watched it. If you have not seen this episode, this is not the stream for you. Get the hell out of here. If you read the manga, stay. If you've seen it, enjoy and share all your thoughts with us. But of course, I'm not here alone. The Amateur Otaku is a big crew of awesome people that love anime. And as usual, I'm accompanied with two awesome brothers. First one, the Mad Isaac. What's up, man?
It's going good. And have you thought about changing the avatar to the talking titan? Or you can talk a lot when you, as soon as you start.
It's funny because you say that, and now I'm thinking I should go for the card Titan because man, Peak talks a lot. Uh, so, but yeah, so as you can see, I'm here with Isaac and also the one and only novice cinephile, Mike. What's up, man?
Man, this was an awesome episode. Can't wait to get into it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we're really excited to be here to talk anime. We do this every week. We cover multiple shows, movies every week at the Amateur Otaku Podcast. If you love what we're doing, please click on that like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you do not miss any streams. You do not miss any episodes or any coverages. Our great crew covers My Hero Academia every single week, manga, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, and then Isaac and I do a lot of crazy movies and different series. Last week we did a Pokemon movie. We do everything that we see that's interesting or anything that you guys suggest. We covered on the Amateur Otaku Podcast.
For the reference, before you go, the Pokemon episode is coming up on Tuesday. For the reference.
Awesome. And which actually coincides with the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus, correct?
It comes out on Friday, so kind of.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. So, but again, people are here not just to talk anything, not to hear me talking craziness and not being able to know where the hell I'm at, like the first seconds of the episode. But we're here to talk Attack on Titan, specifically this last episode. So, episode 78, Two Brothers. There's a lot of things going on, a lot of moving pieces. Interestingly enough, a lot happened, but not a lot of time has passed. This is a very interesting, time-sensitive, and peculiar episode. And guys, what are your thoughts, Isaac?
Well, it's just it's yeah. I think it was a really great episode just for the fact that it made. It's because you can see more of their dialogue, what they were up to, all that jazz, instead of just the fight. Don't get me wrong. The fight is epic. The fight is greatly choreographed and all that, yes. But it was those moments where you had Zeke and Eren talking that I think was the most impactful. Especially the latter half of their conversation when they are meeting Ymir, or I don't know how you pronounce her again, but that to me was the most. They made a phenomenal job covering the whole conversation when Eren confirmed that he was just using his brother and just played along instead of having the same goal. Right. So yeah, I really think this was one of the, if not the best episode for this part of the season.
Yeah, yeah. Mike, thoughts? What are your general thoughts for the episode, Mike?
Sorry, Mike was muted. My bad. um, I'm with Isaac though.
The
This
muted
is
Titan.
this is one of the best episodes of this entire final season, right? Like I love just the truth coming out with the two brothers and Zeke and Eren and learning what's going on, and like Zeke saying that it felt like he was there for years, but it was just a matter of moments. And like you were saying at the top of the show of how time sensitive everything is. It was tense, it was dramatic, but it was also very kind of slow and methodical at points. And
Yeah,
so I think overall this episode was just really strong because we know where Eren and Zeke stand now. Like, and that's something Armin was even alluding to earlier. It's like Eren's not working with Zeke. That's impossible, right? And so finally seeing that kind of come to a head, no pun intended.
wow.
it, it was just
Well done.
really,
Well
really cool
done.
to see. And I can't wait to see where it goes from here. But
Mhm.
yeah, like I think this was just a perfectly paced episode. And I just loved the animation looked great. Like the CG Titans looks, I feel like probably looked their best in this episode, since they're fairly new. And I'm looking at Perp saying he needs therapy after this episode.
I
Yeah.
don't I don't mind you, bro. I don't mind you. I don't disagree with you, man.
Yeah, that's Attack on Titan right there, right?
That's an
Every single
understatement.
week.
Well said, perp.
Honestly, to some extent, I would it would have been fun if one of us hadn't read the manga, because all of us have in this. Just the sheer fact of their reaction of when uh, Eren's head got removed from him, so to speak. How
Yeah.
a anime only person would just react to that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It would just be an interesting conversation and all that jazz.
Look, dude, I kind of knew that was going to happen, and it freaked me out even still.
Yo, perp is bringing out a very important point. This show got the twist. Like this is the Game of Thrones. Yeah, man. Everybody's looking for their own. Yeah. Everybody wants the Iron Throne. Everybody wants the Founding Titan. I see. I
Totally.
never thought about it that way. That's a good point. The idea that everybody, every single party in this world, it's all about getting back the founder. Like everybody has that same mission, but from a different angle, from a different viewpoint, um, and from a different party. And I find that very interesting too, because and I'm glad that Perp mentioned that because I'm sorry, Mike. Did you finish what you were saying? I didn't.
Oh no, you're good, dude.
um, uh, Brandon, the Talking Titan. I just changed my name to AKA. Like the owl was like the most secretive Titan of all, and I'm like I have like the worst name right now because I'm the opposite of the owl. I am not secretive or quiet at all. But I'd like to think about how ideology is such a very big theme right now.
Yeah.
How the idea that every single person is very idiosyncratic and has a very strong belief in something in particular. Like Yelena worships Zeke, and that's her drive. Mikasa is dealing with whether or not she has her own drive or just follows Eren's. Um, Armin is trying to find his place, but also how to lead, finding a leader within himself in spite of wanting to save his friend. Colonel Mergath and everybody feel that the way they save the world is by getting Eren not catching the ball was pretty crazy. Didn't he catch? Yeah. Um, yeah, that's like a little nod of him saying, I don't agree with you, Zeke. That was like his way of saying it or foreshadowing that, which is very interesting. Um, but yeah, and then you have the whole thing with Eren and of course the big divide. Eren revealing that he has his own thoughts and his own ideas, and Zeke has his own, and he doesn't agree with Zeke's, and he's going to follow his own, and which is why I think that one of the biggest themes. I don't know if a lot of people I think a lot of people talk about this, but I don't think I've talked about this with too much people, except probably Isaac. And I don't know how much I've talked about this with you, Mike, but how freedom and what freedom means is one of the biggest themes of the entire Attack on Titan story, right?
Yeah.
And Eren being this fighter or warrior for freedom, or what he believes real freedom is, and how he's never going to sacrifice his idea of freedom. Because if you think about it, Zeke's plan was just another way of another version of slavery, you know, not being able to not be able to procreate, not be able to grow as a nation. You're literally enslaving your own people to die amongst themselves for eternity because they can't move on, you know.
Yeah.
So they are to die off for eternity, as slaves. But also the one of the themes that I've seen that I don't know if you guys caught it, when Zeke told, per mind's on fire, when Zeke told Eren, you need to find somebody to like, and I started thinking, that's
Mm.
well, that's interesting. But the thing about Eren that's interesting, and you know what? I'm gonna stop screaming a lot of things, and I think we should all jump into this comment from Pert Minded. I think this is very interesting. So the whole thing is Zeke always needed someone to follow. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, Zeke had his father, and but then following his father, he ended up then following the Marlians. So Zeke doesn't have his own thoughts because now he's just carrying Kasaver's vision. But the difference between that's and what Eren thinks is, at least the way I see it, which I kind of don't want to say it because I don't want to give stuff away because I know the manga. But when you think about Eren, Eren doesn't follow anybody. Eren just follows his desire and will for freedom. And it's just that's why the attack Titan is so interesting, because it's like the embodiment of Eren's will, which is so powerful. Especially like I still see the image of Eren like limping towards Zeke and doing everything he can to just get there.
Yeah.
It's just so metal.
But that idea of freedom, especially specifically in this episode, is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
the birds represent freedom, and we
Yes.
saw a crap ton of birds
The
in
show
this episode.
Attack on Titan, the first shot of the first episode of the first chapter is an eagle flying.
Yeah. And so, like, I think the biggest moment too is like as the episode's winding down, you see like a flock of eagles flying away. It's like
Yes.
Eren is reaching that level of freedom he's striving towards,
Yep.
right? That's his
Yep.
mission, that's his
Yep.
goal. And
Yep.
so I just think, that theme of freedom that you're
Mhm.
talking about and free will
Yeah.
is what we're going on about here, is really like personified in this one episode. And it just
Yes.
hits even harder with
Yeah.
that revelation of Zeke, like you said, being controlled and manipulated essentially to be one way.
Yep.
And Eren, the entire series, has butted heads with all of his, fellow soldiers and his
Mhm.
friends and his brother, because he is basically a free thinker and he's going
Yes.
by the beat of his own drum.
Yes. And it's interesting because it goes back to the whole thing of so one of the big revelations of season 2, going between season 2 to season 3, is the revelation that Eren has finally understood that there is such a thing as a key to the founding Titan's power, which is coming in contact with a Titan of royal blood, which is what he found out when he touched the Dina Fritz Titan at the end of season 2, and how he comes to the conclusion that he cannot reveal this information, because if he does, they're going to end up using him and Astoria for their own needs. So the leaders of Eldia are going to use them as tools, and because he does not want to be a slave and does not want Historia to be a slave, he keeps that information. And that's how radical of thinker and how big believer Eren is. Like, I always go back to the fact that one of the first lines of dialogue that Eren speaks of as a child is that he wants to go outside the walls because he's tired of living like cattle.
Mm-hmm.
and it's just all these thoughts, and I like how at the end, we're in the final season, and and all these themes are alive, and I think it's so hard to be. It speaks of the writing, like the writing of this book is so good, and I love the fact that it's being translated to the anime seamlessly. Like you can tell that Isayama has been there with Mappa and with Studio doing this show, and to that regards, dude, this is one of the best directed shows, best directed episodes, not only this season but of the entire series, in my opinion. Like like it rivals even like one of the best action episodes. A lot of people go back to where Levi kicks Zeke's ass. And I'm gonna rephrase this: when Levi kicks Zeke's ass the first time, because it's happened multiple times. Um, but that whole sequence in animation of Kenny and his goons chasing Levi through the town,
Oh, that's so good.
that whole set piece is amazing. Like this one rivals that when it all goes in slow motion, and like from that moment that Eren's head snaps off, and all those zooms and the looks from everybody. And it was funny because when I saw that, I actually went back to the book and read it, and that's all literally from Isayama. It's in the book.
Yep.
And the way Mappa was able to translate everything is just, it's pretty breathtaking and amazing.
Definitely. That's what I love about Attack on Titan, is that it is one of the best adaptations I've ever seen, where it's
Yes.
not only taking the source material, it's elevating it to an entirely
Yes.
different level.
Yes.
Because I remember reading this chapter, or these few chapters from this episode, and the music, the score, the animation really took it to a different level. It was good in the book, don't get me wrong, the book is fantastic, but it's just like that's what makes it a great adaptation in my book.
And that's the kind of thing, like, you got to think, and I think that's a lot of the things that a lot of people don't talk about, or probably don't take the time to think, or I would assume that maybe some directors or creators don't think about this when they're adapting works. And is that if you're going to adapt a written work, that it's already great. It's not just about translating what's on there. It's about elevating it. There has to be a reason. There has to be a reason why this is a good idea. And I'm not going to say that I know what it means, but in the sense of, like, for example, a lot of people criticize Cowboy Bebop, and of course it got pulled by Netflix. But that's sadly one of the worst case where that doesn't happen. And apparently, for example, I haven't seen it yet, but I got to see it very soon. But like, it appears that happened with Dennis Villeneuve's Dune. Like, he elevates the material, which is why I believe the movie was pretty successful. Correct?
Yeah, Dune works because the book is so dense and it's so hard to get into, and he made it accessible. He took what makes Dune great and he brought it into that visual medium perfectly. And it's one of the rare adaptations where it's like, in my opinion, it might be better than the book, honestly. We got to see part 2, but
But it's funny that you say that, because I think that's what you want. Like, one of the things I think in one interview, Isayama said that he wants the anime to be his tour de force. That's the ultimate interpretation of Attack on Titan, is the anime. Like, yes, he wrote the book and the book live on, but he wants the people to know that Attack on Titan is that. So Pert Minded is joining the conversation. Let's see. I hope when Attack on Titan is over, as far as the anime goes, and more people watch it, influences other writers. Yeah, man.
I definitely see that as a possibility.
Definitely.
Because it's, especially, like, think about how long this show has been running. Like, we're gonna have a generation of writers growing up on Attack on Titan, right? And that's going to be an influence. I don't know how soon, but it's one of the biggest shows on right now. And look how popular it is. Look how much everybody loves it. It is gonna be influential from here on out.
It's very interesting that you say that. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, Perp. And it's because when you think about it, some of the most instrumental and influential animes right now are long running shows. Dragon Ball, Naruto, Bleach, which are shows that have 20, 300, 1,000 episodes. You know what I mean? Naruto, I think it's getting close to 1,000 if you count Shippuden, Boruto, and all that, right? Because I
Mhm.
think the original Naruto is like 300, Shippuden has like 500, and Boruto, I think, is getting close to 100, right? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
But think about this. This is only episode 78 of Attack on Titan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just the quantity. And yes, it's this the show has been going on for what, almost, I think the first season came out, what, 2016, I think it is.
I think it might be a little earlier too.
Yeah, so I know it's been like 7 or 8 years. um they had to end this whole series with a movie. So but here's the thing. Here's where I don't agree. And here's why. Because the beauty of Attack on Titan, and I think I've said this since our first recording, Isaac, when we first talked about it, is that Attack on Titan is not only the one thing. Attack on Titan is multiple genres, it's multiple themes, it's multiple things and ideas that go through. Like, it starts off as this, yeah. Um, thank you for joining us, Osmaro. Um, Attack on Titan starts as this horror show. It evolves into this mystery show, and then it
Mhm.
becomes this political thriller, and then it becomes this fantasy-induced dream, and now it's an all-out war. You know what I mean? Like, it has so many. Like, you can't just define it as one thing. It's this amazing epic in storytelling. And when you think about it, it was a total of what, Isaac, is what, 139 chapters, I think it is, right?
Yep, that's about right.
It's 139 chapters, and I think it's going to cap off at what, 85, 84 episodes or something like that. Um but everything is so dense, every second, no second is wasted. And it is such so great. Like, even now, like right now, we're talking about the fantasy, the freedom, but one something very simple. This episode is called Two Brothers, right? But
Yep.
Zeke and Eren are not the only two brothers here. We're talking about Colt and Falco. We're talking about Galliard and Marco. We're talking about those connections. Like, the whole thing of Galliard learning the truth of Marco's death. The whole thing of Colt sacrificing himself for Falco, or wanting to protect him and gives his life for him. The idea that Zeke feels that he needs to give his life for his brother, and and all those connection and brotherly love, and what that means and what it could look like. Like, there's a lot of great stuff here, and only great writers can infuse those kind of themes and storylines in such a very dense episode. That because, for example, in the surface, I don't care about Galliard in this episode. I
Right.
want Eren to touch Zeke. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? All I'm thinking is, I got Zim, like, I got the rumbling thing in my head, just like that song. By the way, that opening is so metal. I
It
love it so much.
slaps.
Yeah, it slaps hard. Um, it slaps so hard you turn into a Titan. Okay, so
Ooh.
um, that was kind of dirty. Um, so Aquaman, where you at? Um, so
No comment.
yes. So, but yeah, it's so cool. Everything that Isayama is doing, and the fact that Mappa is doing such a great job as a studio, bringing this to I mean, it's amazing. Like, this is anime M game. I'm sorry, I said it. I'm gonna let go. Shut up now.
No, but like, just even the way this episode ends, dude, it's like
Yes.
I almost threw my remote at my TV. Like, again, I read this stupid book.
Yes.
And I was
And
so caught up in the emotions.
Yes,
of,
yes,
like,
yes.
you
And it's
end it
funny you
here.
say that, because, Isaac, if you remember when we did last week's episode, um, the whole thing about this show being so good that you forget that you read it.
Yeah, and there are masters when it comes to cliffhangers also.
Yes, and I was going to mention
Yeah.
that. So this is not a spoiler, but this is like a little behind this Mapa's Hero episode. This is a little behind the scenes thing for people that did not read the book, which is very interesting. Is that in the book, the cliffhanger doesn't occur when both brothers' heads meet. The cliffhanger occurs when Eren's head pops off.
Yeah.
So think about this. These chapters were released monthly. Imagine you reading that chapter and the last page is Eren's head in the air after being blown off and having to wait a month to figure out what the happened. But they didn't do that because the conversation between them was more important. Do you know what I mean? It needed to that's like, and I like the fact that they're doubling down not on the spectacle. They're doubling down on the relationships, on the tangibles of how we feel for these characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they were just caring about the spectacle and they just wanted it to look nice, they would have ended it then. Like, for example, I think Isaac, you and I had a theory back when we were talking about I think we were talking about the ending of the manga or whatever back in season 3, or when we're talking about the part 1 of the final season. We thought that part 1 was going to end with a particular event, which would be I think I can say it now because they've kind of already made it a point that the rumbling is going to happen, right? They've been talking about it, so I can say it, right?
And it's in the intro.
Yeah, well, not only that, it's actively being said in the show.
No, I mean, like, the title of the intro is The Rumble.
Yeah, right. Do you think they will make that's, you know what? Mike and I were talking about that. I think we should take back that comment towards the end of the episode. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go back to that. We're gonna go back to that. But I think we talked about how I theorized that the ending of part 1 was gonna be the rumbling. And then the last bits of part 2 was gonna be how the effects of that rumbling. But I'm glad that didn't happen because, like I was mentioning in the last episode, I want to know what you think about this, Mike, because I never got a chance to ask you. I like how the opening of the final season, both openings tell the story, and how the first opening is all about the threat of war, and how the second opening now is war is here.
Yeah. It's very powerful and poignant, especially like when you read and understand the lyrics of the song.
Yep.
It just blows your mind of like, this is basically just Eren's narration, right? Of what is going down.
Yes.
And
yes.
That's why it's like I posted on Twitter, it's like the ending gets me teary-eyed every single time because it's like that coincides with the message at the beginning, the cliffhanger they always give us, and then the final.
Yep, it's the tragedy of Eren Yeager. At the end of the day, this is his story. And it goes back to the idea of the whole conversation about freedom. No one's going to tell it if not him.
Right.
Nobody's going to tell their side of the story. No. He's the one that's going to decide how his story goes. And that's why I love this show. And that's why I love this character. I know that a lot of people found it very controversial and how he has become this monster, but it's awesome though.
It's interesting because like he's a monster based on your certain viewpoint, right? Because like even Crunchyroll, for example, in their anime awards of the year, he was listed as best protagonist and best antagonist, and it's like he really can be considered both. I feel like this episode for now, I feel like puts him back in the protagonist seat for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's interesting how you toe the line with his morality in a world
Yeah.
so bleak and dark. Of course, the hero of the story would also be troubled like Eren Yeager.
But even then, a hero doesn't have to. Even if we don't see him as a hero, right? I think it all has to do with also the idea that everything that's happening revolves around him. He is the center of attention. Whether he's the target that Marley wants to stop, and whether he's whether he's the one that the scouts want to help, whether he's the one that the Jaegerists are supporting, he is that figure. Yo, Perp said it, not me. Perp said it, guys. Perp said it. That wasn't me, bro. Perp said it.
I mean,
he brought in the midichlorians. That wasn't me, bro. That wasn't me. Perp minded. He just pulled a Qui-Gon. No.
It's true. All
it's
of it.
True. There's true of that. There's true. So wait a minute. Does that make Levi Yoda? Actually, he spins like Yoda. Yo. Yo.
He's just as tall, right?
Well, compared to a Titan.
Yeah. I'm done messing with Levi's height. We got to make sure dude's okay after what
I'm
happened
waiting.
2 episodes ago.
You know what? Thanks to Perp Minded, I think we have to throw it over there. So LucasArts, I think it's time for a Lego Attack on Titan game. I think.
Jesus.
I mean, if Star Wars have been able to do I don't know, 10 different Star Wars Lego games, you can have a Lego Attack on Titans game. Why not?
Isn't that up to WB Games though? Because
that's true.
They are handling.
Well, they're making the Attack on Titan movie, which right now I really hope they don't.
Yeah, that's better left alone. Let's just leave it as an anime and a manga, please.
It would be awesome if Isayama comes out and say, "Hey guys, when I said that the anime was going to be my final vision, that means I don't want any more live action adaptations."
Guys, I don't know about you, but I think it's kind of time to circle back to if this is going to be an anime original ending or not.
Yeah. So Perp, you threw that out there. You threw the gauntlet. Damn you. Go, Mike. Go. What do you think?
I'm going to say no, because up until this point, right, the story is basically perfection, right? Like every single season of Attack on Titan has been praised. Fans love it. It's trending every Sunday. I am Perp, and you guys saw that I tweeted earlier today, like it's Christmas because every Sunday we get to watch Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan, and it is magical. I don't think you risk messing that up. And I know the ending was a little controversial for manga readers. And I know some things are a little controversial even now with some people, how they view Eren and all this stuff going on. I don't think you change it, though, because that's the point of the story.
Right.
And if you don't like how the writer envision the ending, you don't have the right to change it. It's all about respecting the creator's vision, right? That's what we champion around here.
Right.
I feel like you have to tell it as is, and we just have to understand that is the ending of Attack on Titan.
Right. And a story so complex like this one, I mean, you can't expect it to not be controversial. That's why I get that the ending for Game of Thrones wasn't great. But a story of that magnitude, with that many backstory and all those characters, you can't expect it to be something that's cookie cutter or perfect for everybody. I think the correct move is for it to be divisive. It needs to be an ending that serves the characters. And a lot of times we forget that. Do we want an ending that serves the characters, or do we want an ending that serves us?
Yeah, definitely.
Isaac, what do you think? You think they're changing it?
I don't think they're changing it, but I think they could expand on it, because
interesting.
While because some of the things that you can argue that are, I think, even though there will be a lot of backlash for it, I think it could be people would accept it more if they explored it more. Uh, maybe not explore it more, but evolve. Just sort of like you have. You know the training scene, the training arc or whatever you want to call it in the anime.
Yeah,
As
in
we
Mhm.
know,
season one. Yeah.
that's not in the manga.
Right.
I could see them doing something similar like that and just add on, so it would be more acceptable. It might not be the right term, but
I mean, I wasn't here when you guys
eh,
did your manga reviews, but I will say, like, we didn't get a chance to talk about it, that's why I'm mentioning it. It ended at like 139. I feel like if it went to 140, 141, it probably would have been a lot better for most people. So I agree with Isaac where you could take a few moments here and there and kind of expand or pad a couple more moments throughout the story if you wanted to, but I still, even if you just adapt it straight up, I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, now that you say that, think about this. We only got 9 more episodes.
Dang it.
So one of the things that I think they've done a great job of is that they are focusing on the right moments. Does
Mhm.
it make sense what I'm saying? They're not dwelling on certain moments or certain characters, but they're focusing on the right moments, on the right interactions, on all those little things. And I like that they're doing it that way. So by the time we get to the ending, it means something. I think, but also I don't think the goal is to expand because I think the one of the things that this ending is not, and of course I'm not going to spoil anything of the manga, but I want to tell you, I just want to express this thought about the ending and how it was told, based on what Isaac was saying, which was interesting, is that the ending of this book is not rushed. The ending of this book doesn't feel incomplete. I think you could feel that way if you don't understand where the characters ended.
It goes back to what Perk was saying earlier, right? In the comments of like
Yeah.
rewatching it, he found something different. And it's like
Yeah.
Attack on
Yeah.
Titan is a series that works better the more you go back to it. And
Yes.
so I feel like, especially because that was with me for like the first 3 seasons, like rewatching it, it was a totally different experience from when I first watched it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's why I keep saying like the anime might be able to elevate it and make it
Yes.
a little more digestible.
Yeah.
Whereas like reading it monthly, as you said, was probably kind of difficult to keep track of what was going on just because of the way it was released.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think in the anime format, it can just elevate what's already there. That's why I don't think it's worth changing. And upon re-examination and rewatching episodes, I think it'll click for more people.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, the animation, especially in this season, is gorgeous. It is gorgeous and so attractive, and I just can't wait to watch more. I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait to more for. And and I don't know why, but I get excited every time I see Eren pissed off. Am I the only one that feels that way? Like it's like it's funny because I you know how you know your people? Like you know how when you see someone that's not being who they're supposed to be. Oh, see now, per mine is just bragging now. See, why are you doing this, bro? I'm watching. I'm being humble. I watch my anime on my tablet, and you just dropping that 4K TV, bro. Come on, man. That's not right. um, but it's like, you know how when you have your friends and you know they're kind of like playing a different role for whatever reason, you're like, bro, what's wrong with you? That's not you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like Armin is technically saying the same thing about Eren. And it's like after the whole first part of the season, when you see Eren assume that that stance, whenever he releases that look of rage against Zeke, you're like, there's my boy.
Yeah, we knew you weren't going right. The time
Yeah.
skip and all that stuff. It's like
Yeah.
that's when the time skips are executed beautifully, right? Because like we don't know where Eren is anymore, like
Yeah.
mentally and what headspace he's in. It's like, and when you see that turn, it's just like, oh yeah, he was playing the long game. Incredible
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Which I love because one of the things that we talked about when we first did when you first see Eren as this wounded soldier or whatever, is the whole thing of how much he has grown as a warrior, as a person.
Yeah.
um how conniving and manipulative and scheming, like literally he is the one character, and that's the one thing that nobody can take away, because there was a period there where he was kind of a little bitch, but like no one can deny that Eren learned from everything.
Yep.
You know, agreed. You know what's funny? You say that, and you know what I think about Perp? I think that happened even more when he found out that he ate his dad. Because that couldn't have been easy to swallow. Well, oh, damn. That was a bad pun.
Jesus, man.
I'm sorry. That was not my intention. Um, but yeah. Guys,
I'm proud of you.
shut up, Isaac.
The Punisher Titan speaks.
Yes. But you all got anything else you want to add before we talk a little bit about the preview and wrap up?
No, I think we covered everything for this week.
Yeah. This is awesome. This was awesome. Um, so to me, what I love about the preview, it's not the fact that there's a preview, it's the title of the episode. That's the one thing that's like blowing my mind right now.
So I'm just going to say that I'm the guy who doesn't watch the preview just so you can go into next episode blind. So I read it, so I don't know. I don't care if you talk about it, but I don't know what happens in the preview.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm not going to talk about the preview. It's the name. The
Okay.
name of the preview is Memories of the Future. That's the name of next week's episode. And I love it because now I think they're going to go. It looks like we're going to go into the whole thing about how the pathways work in terms of connecting Titans and memories. And one of the things that's very interesting, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but one of the most powerful scenes and most important scenes of the entire series is the conversation that Aaron Kruger has with um, Gresha Jaeger before he surrenders himself to give Gresha the power of the Attack Titan. And one of the interesting things that he says to Grisha before sacrificing the power, he says, do it for the future, do it for Eldia. And then he says, do it for Mikasa and Armin. And then he goes, who are they? And he goes, I don't know. I think I just remembered it. And is the idea of the Attack Titan having the ability of not having a limitation in terms of its destiny or time, which is so weird. And 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 the thing that's most interesting is that in this episode we found out that that is not necessarily limited to the Attack Titan, because that's the only way that Reiner was able to transmit a memory of his to Galliard.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like that's a skill that Eren and the wielders of the Attack Titan have just probably perfected even better because their connection to the pathways is stronger. I don't know. It's the Force. But but yeah, man, I'm excited to see how this chapter plays out, how they bring it to life. And I'm really wondering how much time are we going to spend here. Um, and I just can't wait. I'm ready to see more. Isaac,
Yeah.
what do you think? Do you have big hopes for next episode? Are you ready for the big info drop or whatever?
I don't know what else to talk about the episode, but yeah, bring on the next episode.
He is a man of few words, but the puns are there. Um, yeah, man, this is awesome. I can't wait to get to next week to talk more Attack on Titan. Guys, thank you for joining us. Thank you for surviving the way I horribly started the episode, but I think this has been a great episode too. Um, If you love what we do here at the Amateur Otaku Podcast, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you love what we do, share it with your friends. Let people know that we exist, and let's keep growing this anime community. If there's any shows that you guys think that we should cover, please let us know. Apart from our weekly Attack on Titan and our weekly My Hero Academia and My Hero Academia Vigilantes, we also cover anime films. Sometimes we do seasons as a whole of other shows entirely. I know that we still owe you part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but it is going to happen. And man, that show is weird. But we have a lot of great stuff planned for you guys. Thank you for joining us.
You don't mean it's bizarre?
There, I got nothing. So, Mike, if people were looking for your awesome stuff, where can they find you and your stuff?
Phrasing, but you can find me at Novice Cinephile on YouTube and on Twitter. I'm also here with you guys covering My Hero Academia and Vigilantes. We have a fun episode of My Hero coming up where we discuss the craziest fan theories we found online. That's going to come up next week, so make sure you guys check out that. And over at my channel, Novice Cinephile on YouTube, you can check out a video I think you guys be interested in. It is Naruto and Sasuke breaking the cycle of hatred. I think you guys would enjoy that video essay as well over there.
Sweet. Isaac, where can we find you, my brother?
Well, you can find me over at Woman Entertainment with my reviews, and you can find me over at the Emblemaniac on Twitter.
And you can find me at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter and at the Scarlet Fan 52 on Instagram. And you can follow the Amateur Otaku at Amateur Otaku Pod. Have it awesome, guys.
Have it awesome.
Plus Ultra.
I'm biting my hand. Okay, I'm not a Titan.